Welcome anyone to the Gaming Chamber Podcast, episode 27. We are back after another week off after we recorded, and we had a week off before that because I was sick. Understandable for this week or this past week. I was moving. I'm your host, Two Beats to Kill You. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to get everything out of the way. But I was moving, so had to move the internet over to the new home, set up my everything. Yeah, it was a bitch of a process, but it's done now. Should be back to weekly episodes. Two-man team this week. Unfortunately, the other man is Devin. Go ahead.
What up, Skank?
Oh my god, the perpetual thorn in my side, as I say. Well, although I say JJ as well. Our three-man team. I got two thorns in
He's
my
in your
side.
neck of the woods now. He's at Disneyland right now.
That's right? Yeah, he's in
He's
Disneyland.
at. I mean, he might not be in there right now, but I know he went today and yesterday. He was in Disneyland doing the Disneyland stuff.
He was like, California, I am inside of you.
For some reason, he kept singing like Hotel California a bunch.
Kept singing Hotel California. I think that's every time anyone enters.
No, it wasn't that one. No, it was California Girls by Katy Perry. That's the one he was singing.
Oh my god! Wait, California Girls by Katy Perry. That's a song.
Yeah.
That shows you how much I know.
Snoop Dogg's in it, man.
Good for him. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Well. All right. So yeah, like I said, missed last week. But yeah, I think everything should be fine. Back to weekly episodes, and let's go ahead and just get on with this one. Devin, it's been 2 weeks since the last episode. What have you been up to? What have you been playing? Go ahead.
Well, yeah, this last week I haven't been playing much because, I mean, from the sound of my voice, I'm getting over a cold, so I haven't played much like this week, but I'm trying to finish up RoboCop, and I've been playing Pikmin 2 on my Switch. So, other than that, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
And watching football, right? Because
kickoff
week, and my Chargers won today, beating the Raiders, those sorry-ass Raiders.
I mean, yeah, they're beating they beat Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Like,
you know what? I was actually getting kind of pissed off earlier today because I'm like, really? You guys are not like blowing them out of the water? It's the Raiders. Gardner Minshew is their quarterback. You should be destroying them. Like for the longest, it was they were losing at first. Then they were 9-7 or whatever. 9-7 or whatever. Like I was getting a little pissed off. Then they started pulling away, and Herbert had that throw to our rookie receiver Lad McConkey. I was like, there we go. Let's do this. And you can talk about your team winning. Go ahead.
I mean, they're winning the Super Bowl. I can't even say it with a straight face. But, I mean, we all know the Vikings were going to, I knew they were going to kill the Giants. Like, this was one game that I was the most confident in. I'm like, this is what you beat bad quarterbacks. Like, I picked up, like, the Vikings for my fantasy team because the Vikings defense even got a touchdown this week. So, like, they destroyed the Giants today, and it was hilarious. Because Daniel Jones is a terrible quarterback, and it was great. And just like everyone thought, the Vikings are going to be 1-0 and win the Super Bowl.
Like they are winning the Super Bowl, and no one can tell me anything to dissuade me from that thought process.
Exactly.
As for me, the past 2 weeks, like I said, was moving, so I didn't really play much during this past week up until Friday. I've been playing the Black Ops 6 beta. I have that as the gameplay footage right now for the podcast. It's fun. plays like Call of Duty. I don't mind Call of Duty as much as other people do. But it's Black Ops, so like you know, typically it's not a bad idea to play a Black Ops game. I mean, I think Treyarch is past um, Infinity Ward as the number one Call of Duty developer since basically Black Ops 1. Maybe even since World at War, because World at War was pretty good too. Although, having World at War as a follow up to Modern Warfare 1's obviously not going to be there yet. But Black Ops 1, like, come on. So I don't know. But yeah, that's really all. It's just moving, playing some Black Ops beta. I did play a little bit of Gears. Actually, it's because I got a new PC that actually can play games. I did what you said. It just took a while for some reason, but it came in, and yeah, I got a computer that actually can run games. So that's how
There you go.
I was able to record. For some reason, my Elgato capture card is not working, or the not capture card, but like the little device, it's not been working. So I was like, okay, I can't record, but I was like, oh wait, I got a computer that could play games. So I downloaded Call of Duty on my computer and Gears 5. Um, so maybe when Black Ops 6 comes out, if I'm not able to fix this, I'll probably play Black Ops 6 or to like live stream it, like through my computer. It is weird because even though my capture card's not like it's not showing up in the OBS, I can still play it. Like it's on my TV. So like the feed is going through, it's just not producing it like onto the computer or something. It's weird. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. So it's just something I'm gonna have to deal with until hopefully maybe at some point. What I plan on doing is getting the actual like the Elgato. It's called the 4K Pro. You actually install it into the computer. So that'll be fun. Yeah. Um, I don't know. You got anything else to add, or you want to just get into the past week of stuff?
Yeah, stupid Lions just won, so that's just about it. But
Wait, the Lions just won the game
yeah,
against the
fucking
Rams. Well, that's unfortunate.
yeah, Rams kind of fucked it up, but whatever. They should have earlier in the game. They should have kicked a field goal instead of going for it on a fourth down. Like those 3 points would have been really important. And they dropped a lot of like interceptions during the game too. Like they had 2 picks of Jared Goff. They probably could have 4 or 5. So I'm not too worried about the Lions. Jared Goff's coming down to earth this season.
So, I should add this. This past week there was a Nintendo Direct. Uh, because of everything, I just didn't watch it. Did you happen to watch it? The Nintendo Direct?
No, I didn't even. I didn't watch it, and I remember seeing like a recap, but I don't think there's anything that like caught my eye.
And yeah, unfortunately, everything just passed me by because of the moving. I was able to keep up to a certain point, obviously, with what we'll talk about, like the biggest stuff, and obviously some of these smaller things or whatever. Um, but yeah, that Nintendo Direct, like, unfortunately, that's just gonna. We're just not gonna talk about it. Like, there's not much we could do about it. Obviously, none of it. You didn't see it. I didn't see it. It didn't happen.
Yeah,
We'll say that.
I'm going through like of what was shown. There's nothing that like I even care about that was
I was
shown.
gonna
Not
say, I
like
think the only thing that really mattered, I think that showed was like, oh, the Marvel Capcom stuff.
yeah, and there's some Yakuza thing too. So I don't know. But
Which, oh, I didn't add this to our little like our list of what we're talking about. But yeah, they're actually gonna bring the Marvel Fighting collection over to Xbox, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanna play those games again. I like the Marvel versus Cap. I mean, it's obviously not just Marvel versus Capcom. It's the Marvel superheroes and some other stuff. I'm not remembering every game. But yeah, uh, that's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and. I want to start off with this one because of your past employment history, and I just think this is kind of maybe a smart move. But at GameStop, they're starting to open up stores now they're called GameStop Retro, correct? Like I'm not thinking something different. They are called that, and
Yeah.
it's exactly what you think what you think it is. They are selling older stuff, older consoles, older games, and actually at my job or a one of those I forgot what they're called with all the stores in the plazas. There we go. The plaza that's near my job happens to have a GameStop Retro. I haven't checked it out yet, but I do want to check it out maybe this week or something. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think this is a good idea on GameStop's part because I mean, obviously you know too, you work there and everything. Like they've been leaning heavily into like, pop figures and other collectible stuff because, you know, digital's become a big thing. And if you want to buy a console, you don't need to go to GameStop. You could go to, Target or Walmart or Best Buy or even just order it on Amazon or whatever. So for this, like, hey, you know what? Maybe I want to go buy an old PlayStation 3 or something or PlayStation 2 or whatever. This is the way to get it, you know? I mean, obviously you can still get those things on like Amazon and eBay or whatever, but, you know, this just seems like if you want to just pick it up right then and there and you happen to see it or whatever, but I think this is a good way for GameStop to at least stay afloat for a while. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, it's smart of them because I mean it's the form of media that doesn't have the digital. I mean, like obviously you can digitally with like PCs can have emulators and stuff like that, but the hardcore collectors that are out there, and that's a really strong community that's coming back now is like retro gaming. It's not just like, oh, I can run these retro games on an emulator on my PC and play it. It's like no, like if you're a retro gamer, if you want to call yourself a retro gamer, you have to have the old console, and you also have to like have the cartridge or discs if it's like PlayStation 1. So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
yeah. I mean,
so no, it's smart.
yeah.
Like we got questions. Like I would probably once a week we would get questions like if people would come in and be like, "Oh, do you guys have like GameCube games?" Like once, like we were like in the Wii U, you're like, "Oh no, like we got rid of that shit like a while ago or whatever." So
Yeah,
like
because that was the thing.
and
Like
like
after a while, they
and
would
as
get
long
rid of
as
those stuff,
they
right?
and as long as yeah, and as long as they like only like take the good stuff, like no retro gamer is gonna be like, "Oh, can I get Madden on the fucking GameCube?" Like, so as long as they just like are selective about the stock that they can get,
Well, yeah. So
then
I
that'll
was
be
I was looking through the website. Like they're definitely like leaning into like, hey, you want to buy? Like I saw a GameCube copy of Wind Waker. Like it was $10 or whatever on the website. So they're definitely like they're putting that up front. Like you want to buy this. Obviously, yeah, they're not like a WWE game or WWF or whatever it was. I guess they've been WWE for that long, I guess, or stuff. They're definitely trying to lean
yeah.
into that, like stuff that clearly someone's gonna be like, you know what, I wouldn't mind a copy of Wind Waker for the GameCube or whatever, something like that. I
Oh,
mean, well, because I like this too because I mean, you still have your Xbox 360, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't really care about having an Xbox 360, because obviously most of the stuff that I would want to play, it is backwards compatible. But the thing is, for me, like maybe I want to kind of check to see if they have a PlayStation 3, because I mean I've talked about this on previous podcasts. Like I want to be able to play all of the God of War games, and they have the collection on the PS3. And unfortunately, the two games that were on PSP cannot be played on the PlayStation 5. So because of that, like, yeah, I'm kind of forced to have to get a PS3. So I kind of would want to get a PS3 just so I can, like, you know, I could play the God of War games, and I don't have to stream them. I could just play them natively on the console and everything. So, but yeah, it's also too, if like, I don't know if any are around you. I mean, you could look it up if they have the
There's
store locator.
there's one in Salem.
So I don't know if maybe
Where
you would be like, what, I want to see if maybe they have something that I would want to pick up or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I might go eventually. To see what's going on. There is like a mom and pop shop that's like in here. Like it's called Game Crazy. Um, they just like they sell just like everything, so it's kind of cool.
Mm.
But yeah,
Oh shit! I just realized. Yeah, GameStop retros are probably. I remember when I used to work in Torrance, and down the street from my job there was, I forgot what it was called. It was like called Game Bros or something like that. It was like one of those, yeah, mom and pop shops, but it sold like older games. It did have some newer games, um, but it had a lot of older games, and like you could go in there, and get your console fixed and everything. Man, they GameStop retros could probably take those out.
yeah, it's possible. Just another way for GameStop to and like I don't know, man. Like GameStop seems to go like on hospice, and then like it's just like fucking miraculously survives. It's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I'll probably try and check one out next week. By this week, I mean, or this during this week, and then maybe I'll talk about it next week. What it was like. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. We'll see how it fares. Let's see. Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this one. So, Konami, they said stay tuned on a possible Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 2 that could possibly have Metal Gear Solid 4. Uh, it was something, let me see, let me look through the article. In June last year, fans spotted that inspecting the Metal Gear Solid timeline page on the website revealed placeholder buttons for Metal Gear Solid 4, 5, Peace Walker. 3 games that were obviously not part of the current collection that's going to be coming out, or that's already out, right? Wait, has it come out yet?
I don't think it's come out yet.
The first one. Um, but it looks like, yeah, like they just haven't announced anything. Like it could be part of it, but Konami has said, yeah, that hey, stay tuned. Um, or was it Konami? It doesn't look like it does now. It's saying that they declined the comment. It was more the voice actor David Hayter who does Snake's voice. So this is a little bit weird now. Okay, here we go. It does say Konami producer Noriaki Okumura, I don't know how we say it, teased Volume 2 and its inclusion of Metal Gear Solid. Asked directly about bringing Metal Gear Solid 4 to modern consoles, Okumura replied, "We definitely are aware of the situation with MGS4. Unfortunately, we can't really say too much at the moment with Volume 1, containing 1 through 3, ... You could probably connect the dots. Right now, we're still internally concerned about what we should be doing for the future of the series. So sorry, we can't really reveal anything at the moment, but stay tuned. It's okay. They did comment. It was earlier they didn't comment, but Konami producer. So yeah, uh, I've never played Metal Gear Solid 4. I actually haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5, but I did play obviously 1 through 3 and everything. This for me, I don't. You've said this before. You kind of think they're overrated, right? The Metal Gear games, or just uh, Kojima in general, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I I want the collection to happen, just for the fact that I want to be able to play Metal Gear Solid 4 if it's included across all consoles. Then I could, I get to play Metal Gear Solid 4 on my Xbox. Now, obviously, earlier I talked about possibly getting a PS3. If anything, I could just get a copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 for that. But, if I could play it on my Xbox, why not, right?
Why not?
Why? 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 But I'm excited. I know, you're not the biggest. We'll say you're not the biggest Metal Gear fan. So I know this isn't like super exciting for you.
No, but I mean it's cool. Like I tried to give 5 a shot, and like I don't know, I'll try, but it's just tough. Just don't
I
like the way they play.
actually I did play 5 part of it, or part way or whatever. I don't really. I think it strayed too far from what I liked about Metal Gear, like the Metal Gear Solid games. I liked sneaking through, and if I didn't want to sneak through, guns blazing and just kind of go through, a base and then, play the game. Where Metal Gear Solid 5 was more about like collecting resources and building up the army. It's the story of Big Boss, well, rising up and everything, and building up his manpower and everything. It's fine, that's cool, but not for me. I'd rather have just I would have just preferred a more straight line. Just, oh, here's our tactical espionage action game or whatever. I don't know what kind of story it would be after Metal Gear Solid 4. I know how obviously Metal Gear Solid 4. Spoiler for what the game came out 2007, 8 or some shit.
Something like that, yeah.
Like, spoiler for a near fucking 20-year-old game. Like, you know, Solid Snake's old and can't do it anymore, and he beats the Patriots and everything. Like, he beats everybody. He wins in the end. It's a lot. It's a very crazy story when it has to do with AI and people being kids of other people, and people who were supposed to be dead actually not being dead and then committing. It's a thing. It's fucking, yeah. It's Metal Gear. Like, we all know how insane those games can get. But yeah, I don't know. We don't really have to keep going on with it. I just want to, obviously, I wanted to talk about that because I like the Metal Gear games. I would like to be able to play them all through my Xbox, my sex box, as some would call it. Okay. So Control and Alan Wake. Did you beat Control? I know you played it, right?
Yes. Yes, I did. Not the DLC. I only beat the regular main campaign.
And then you did recently buy Alan Wake 2, but you haven't beat that game, right? So
Not yet. Slowly making my way through that one, but just obviously backlog and then being sick. I just haven't
Yeah. So
had a chance.
Remedy, the studio behind those games, they've announced that they're going to be working on TV shows and movies. Thanks to Annapurna, they're going to be partnering up with Annapurna. Annapurna, I think they have done video games. You know, Annapurna Interactive. I want to say they did that one, Gone Home, maybe. They do those types of like walking simulator heavily story focused type games typically, as far as I can remember. But yeah, they do a lot of like movies and TV shows. I can't think of anything off the top of my head of what's from them. I could look it up real quick. Let me search that up. Annapurna. This okay? I'm on something that happens. I guess it's a city, a mountain. uh, Here we go. Annapurna Pictures. They have done Lawless, The Master, Killing Them Softly, Zero Dark 30, Spring Break. They've actually done some stuff. The Grandmaster, Her, Foxcatcher, American Hustle, Joy, Sausage Party.
Oh yeah.
That's not a bad movie actually. Also, if I'm
Did
reading
they do
through
the
this,
Sausage Party TV show?
it probably did. So it looks like actually they were Annapurna Pictures first, and then in 2016 they formed Annapurna Interactive to make video games and stuff. So these movies I'm talking about, they were more finance and producer. I guess they weren't really. Hmm, interesting. Yeah, they've done a lot of stuff, a lot of movies. Well, now they're working on Control and Alan Wake, uh, film and TV, we'll say. And other audio-visual formats. I don't know what that means. Audio-visual formats. I mean,
Maybe it's
audio-visual.
like maybe they're talking about remember like back when you listen to music on like your Windows computer and like those little like waves and like things would go. So it's audio and visual. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? It was
Yeah, I
like
think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, like I forget what program that was called, but yeah, it was just like wave and stuff like that. So
Also, too, this also is like coming along that they're actually Annapurna Interactive, their video game division, is going to be like publishing Control 2, which obviously they're announcing they're making a Control 2. So they're definitely, you know, enjoying this partnership or not enjoying the partnership, but like yeah, they are definitely in bed with Annapurna. Um, I mean, it looks like by reading this, it's still considered more self-publishing by Remedy. Um, so I guess they're not technically gonna own the rights. They're gonna be part of the like part publisher, I guess. Um, yeah, I haven't finished Control. I started playing it and I just never got around to finishing it. So I don't know. So moving into what like I guess what these movies and TV shows would be about? Do you think they'll just be continuations of what the games were, or you think they'll be adaptations?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'd like to see them tell new stories. So like fill in gaps. I think that'd be pretty cool to essentially, I don't know, be DLC. You could even say like
You mean something
between
like
games.
what was that game they did for the Xbox? Uh, ah,
Defiance? Is that what you're thinking of?
No. It was a Remedy game, the time
Oh,
one, Quantum Break. Um, they had that TV show for Quantum Break that was like
yeah,
part of
you're
the
right.
game, but it wasn't the main character of the game that you were playing as. It was another character, but it did tie into the game and everything. So you're probably thinking like maybe they'll do something like that where it's like.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think maybe with Alan Wake, whatever they do with Alan Wake probably will involve the actual character of Alan Wake, but Control probably lends more to, oh, they'll have. I mean, it's possible they could do something where it's more of like what are those? Those like self-contained like seasons where like maybe every season's a new character that has to do with the. I don't remember what that like the division is called that the main character is part of or whatever. That deals with all the like strange phenomena and everything.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, it could be possibly that. So,
Yeah, it's true.
or they could just do the lazy thing and it's like, oh, it's just the main character from Control and Alan Wake in their own whatever they are, whether it's a TV show or because yeah, reading through this, that it says they're doing movie and TV shows, but it doesn't necessarily say if like either one is going to be a TV show or a movie. For all we know, because it's just saying it like this is what they're doing, that maybe neither is a movie or neither is a TV show. So it remains to be seen, but obviously we're not going to see this for I don't know, maybe a few years, maybe 2 or 3 years before we actually
Yeah,
see.
most likely 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, shit. What? How long? It was 2, 3 years ago they announced the Gears of War movie on Netflix. Like they said, it
Yeah.
was on Netflix. I we have yet to. Actually, it might have been last year. Might have been last
But
year they
like,
announced it,
I
but we
haven't
still
heard of
haven't like.
anything.
Yeah,
I haven't heard of anything of like, oh,
they started
like,
filming, there or we
yeah, like,
cast these people or anything. Yeah,
yeah. That's one thing that I really like about like James Gunn. He's always like updates. Like, yep, we wrapped filming. I'm writing this script. I'm finished writing this script. Like, I don't know where he finds the time to do all that stuff, especially taking over at DC. But I'm like, I appreciate that because it's like, as a fan, like, just give me updates like of where you're at. You don't have to tell me what like what the plot's about, obviously, but just like give me an update. Like, oh yeah, we finished writing the script. Oh, we're starting pre-production. Like first day of filming, last day of filming, and then it's like cool.
like here's
I
this. Oh, yeah, and here's a
it's
picture of the
it's
ugly
just nice.
Superman suit.
I don't really care.
I don't like that. I don't like his Superman suit. I've always hated the underwear shit on suits. Like I've always hated that. And he added it back with the Superman suit. It's making me like, oh fuck, is he gonna do that with his Batman? Like whenever we see what his Batman looks like. I like James Gunn stuff. I recently watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Thought it was a great movie. I like his Guardians movies. I like the Peacemaker show. James Gunn is good at what he does. But man, that fucking Superman suit. I think it would have been fine if it didn't have the underwear. It would have looked fine. Like fine, he wants to go for a more colorful, brighter tone than Zack Snyder. But the underwear, really? We have to have the underwear?
Maybe he'll, I don't know, upgrade his suit as the DCU goes on.
I don't know. It's going to be very hard. It might be just, for me, might be just like, it'll be very hard for James Gunn to top certain things. Because I liked Henry Cavill as Superman. We're getting off topic, obviously, but whatever. I liked Henry Cavill Superman, and I loved that outfit. I loved his suit, the darker suit and everything. Same thing. Like I think Zack Snyder is so much. I talked about this before. Zack Snyder, when it comes to visual stuff, no one's probably better. No, I'm not gonna say no one's probably. No one is better than Zack Snyder when it comes to the visuals of whatever he's putting to film. His stories obviously you can take it or leave it. I don't mind his stories as much, but yeah, which is probably actually why it's so funny that I like James Gunn's writing, but I like Zack Snyder's visuals. They did work on a movie together, the Dawn of the Dead remake. I'm pretty sure it's the Dawn of the Dead remake. Zack Snyder directed it, but he didn't write it. James Gunn did. If you look that up, that's a true. I'm pretty sure it's that movie. That's a true thing. James Gunn wrote the script and story for the Dawn of the Dead remake. Zack Snyder directed. Another fun fact, since we were just talking about Metal Gear, David Hayter, the voice actor for Solid Snake, wrote. I don't know if he wrote the story. Well, not story, but he wrote the script. I'm pretty sure, just the script for the Watchmen movie that Zack Snyder directed. So that's tying it back to something we talked about earlier. I know I pay attention to these things, maybe a little too much. When it comes to these kinds of things, I'm kind of a nerd for that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
Nerd.
So I don't know. So I'm just question. Did you like Control and Alan Wake, at least from whatever you played of Alan Wake enough to want to actually watch like a movie or TV show based or other audio visual formats based on those games?
Yeah, I don't know what other audio visual formats like. I mean, they're sending out like music videos like for these, which
You know what?
based on Alan Wake
I mean,
could be that.
yeah.
I mean, I'll watch them. I mean, I'll give them a shot unless it's like they come out in reviews and say like this is as dog shit as Borderlands is. Like I will give it a shot because like I don't think I'm probably ever gonna watch that Borderlands movie.
I still need
So
to rent that movie, but it's
you
$20 to rent
don't
it.
waste it. Yeah,
It's
do not
$20. Yeah,
waste $20. Yeah,
yeah. No,
like that's a $4 rental. Like if you can rent it for $4, or you could maybe find it on a free site.
actually, I
But
fucked up. I did fuck. Well, it's not that I fucked up. Somebody put it on YouTube, the whole movie,
oh
and
yeah,
I would have watched it through that, but like I said, I was in the process of moving, so I didn't have time. Hopefully, maybe somebody does it again, and I'll watch it that way. Somebody put, and it wasn't degraded. Like somebody put the whole movie, just like that, on YouTube.
huh.
So
Is it still up, or did they finally take it down?
I'd have to go through my YouTube history to see if it's that was last week. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I'd have to go back a lot of videos. I mean, I could look it up real quick, maybe like on my computer if I go and scroll really quick. What is it? What is this? Where's my history? For some reason, everything is not showing up. Okay, so if I'm going back enough, it does look like it got taken out. Like it's taken down. Because where I am in my history, it would have shown up by now. Because, yeah, some of these things I definitely watched. Yeah, like this uh, video I'm looking at for this channel called Dead Meat. I definitely watched this before that movie, before I started playing it on YouTube. So it got taken down for sure.
Yeah. And, man, speaking of just bad, that Minecraft trailer, whew, that looks
You know
terrible.
what? Yeah, a lot of people are like shitting on that trailer, the Minecraft movie trailer. I don't think it looks that bad.
I don't know, man. It looks pretty bad.
I don't know. I guess for me, I had like absolutely abysmally low expectations for anything Minecraft movie related. That seeing that it just looks like I obviously know what they're going for. Like, oh, these people that get sent into the Minecraft world or whatever. Kind of like the Jumanji. I guess they're kind of going with like how the Jumanji movie. What was it called? Was it called Welcome to the Jungle? The one with the Rock.
Uh, there's two of them.
The
Oh,
first
I
one.
forget the names of them. I forget the names.
I think it's called Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. I think they're going for that, where it's like, oh, they get sucked into the game, these people, and so it's that whole fish out of water kind of thing, I guess, or whatever. Um, and it looks like like blocky aesthetic, and it looks like Minecraft in a movie form. Like it, when you think of what Hollywood does to movies or video game movies, like this makes sense. Like this is how they would like turn the Minecraft world, like what they would turn the Minecraft world into. I mean, we've all seen like remember that Sonic that they were gonna go with at first, Hollywood or whatever, before. Which honestly, I kind of actually, again, I kind of didn't mind it. Like whatever. You know,
You have terrible taste.
look, it, when it comes to these things.
Dude, those teeth were like
Oh
fucking
yeah, no, okay.
weird, dude.
The teeth thing, they were
Yeah,
a little too
the teeth,
human-like.
the teeth, yeah, the teeth is what did it for me. Everything else I was fine with, but then once he smiled, I was like, dude, why did Sonic get fucking veneers? And like,
Yeah.
what is going on? Like,
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I
like,
like that they just went with classic Sonic design. Those movies are great. I can't fucking wait for the third film, and like I am going to go see that shit. Probably day one because I very much enjoy like Jim
if you have the
Carrey.
money, you're broke.
Fuck you. Jim Carrey is so good as Robotnik, and like those Sonic movies are good. Which is probably why I don't care about the design that they originally had. If the movie's good, whatever. And for all
Like
we
I
know,
said,
like the
I was
Minecraft
fine.
movie is
I
good.
was fine. I was fine with the design all
It's
up
the
until
teeth.
the teeth. I was like, okay, we got like the teeth. I can't deal with this. Like, I will not be able to watch this movie
Like we got to do something
with
about
Sonic
those.
fucking.
We got to do something about those fucking teeth.
Yeah, like someone needs to come punch Sonic in the face and redo those teeth. Like,
Cause
we gotta fix
damn,
this.
like cause damn, like hell no, it ain't. That ain't doing it.
Hmm.
That's fucked.
Daddy ain't looking at that for an hour and 45.
This motherfucker. Oh my god.
And they listen.
That's like they actually listen.
Just to me, not anybody else. They listen to me.
All right, let's see. Let's move on to the next thing. Hogwarts Legacy. Oh man, this is a good story. I like. So obviously, we've talked a lot about Suicide Squad this past fucking year or this year or whatever, because it did bad. I think WB's the Warner Brothers games is like, okay, we need to we need to fucking fix this shit. Hogwarts Legacy. They've confirmed they're making a sequel, and it's one of their quote unquote biggest priorities, which makes sense. It was the top selling game from last year, right? Like, why would you? I mean, after that, what was it? It was earlier this year, right? Yeah, because the news came out after the Suicide Squad, where they were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna double down on live service," because what that makes so much sense. To back away from single player when your best selling title was a single player game, and your worst selling title was a live service game. And especially at a time where live service, we'll talk about it later, another live service game, like where live service is starting to get really stomped on and everything, live service games or whatever. So I don't know. I'm thinking this might be a pivot for them. That they're gonna be like, okay, we got to focus more on this style of stuff, like single player maybe, and maybe they still want to do live service stuff, but they're like, yeah, we really got to make a big push for single player. Which, I mean, I haven't heard one thing or another, but the Wonder Woman game this should mean right. It's going to be a single player game then, right?
Yeah, it's a single player game, but it sounds like it's gonna have the Nemesis system from what I've heard. And the
Mm.
rumor is there's some sort of live servicey bullshit to that too. I'm like, just did they not realize like when the second Lord of the Rings, the Shadow of Middle Earth or
Shadow of
Shadow of
War.
whatever Shadow of War came out, still in like my sick brain fog
Yeah,
where
yeah. No.
brain no work good.
Braid no work
Uh,
well. Yeah.
um, like they had live service shit in that, and everyone was like, "Dude, this fucking sucks." And then they scrapped it and took it all out of there, and everyone's like, "Oh, this like now this game is how it should be." Like this is a single player game with a nemesis system, and it works really well. You guys aren't being predatory with microtransactions to get us to buy so we can level up and like be able to continue in the game. This is great. And like it feels like Warner Brothers is trying to do that again with the Wonder Woman game. It sounds like that's at least from what's being reported, because obviously all that we've actually seen is just a short little teaser trailer, even not even like gameplay really. You just see that short little teaser trailer. And it's like, I swear to God, like just don't fuck it up. Just make Shadow War, like one of those Shadow games. Just make that with Wonder Woman shit. Have a Nemesis system in there, and like people will buy it. Like those Lord of the Rings games, they sold really well. Like if you just make a really good game around a recognizable IP, people are going to buy it. Harry Potter, you made a just like an above average game, but people have been wanting a open world, like really good Harry Potter game forever. Like whenever we work at GameStop, people would just come in. They're like, "I'm really big fans of Harry Potter. I know this game's dog shit, but I'm just buying it because I love Harry Potter. I just want to like be a wizard. Like people like essentially like I just want to be in like the Hogwarts world. Like so like you just give them like because it was just like an Ubisoft game where it's an open world, pretty generic quest or whatever. But like there wasn't like, oh, you need to come in and do your dailies. You don't need to come in and like so if you didn't play it every day, you weren't penalized. But just like it was just like a throwback to just like a regular, just do these quests. You'll level up. You get to go to your potions class, and like so it felt like you were in Hogwarts and stuff like that. And people ate that shit up because Harry Potter is one of the most recognizable fucking brands ever. So you just make a halfway decent game, and people are gonna buy it. You don't need to put microtransactions into your game to make money, and they better not do it with the second Hogwarts Legacy.
I was
Like,
gonna
don't put
ask you that.
microtransactions.
What if they do that? They add live service elements or make it a live service game, the Hogwarts
If
Legacy.
they make it a light, it's not going to sell as well. They're not going to make as much money, and they'll be like, "Well, that's weird because we have elements to keep making money, like month over month or week over week, or however like they want to like set their fucking billing calendars up or whatever." But it's like that's weird. Why aren't we making more money? Because people want to go out and buy your game if like that's a nice thing. When you bought Hogwarts Legacy, all of the content was in there. You didn't have to wait for seasons to be like, oh well, in season 2 is when potions class, like they introduced potions
Yeah.
class. Like, no, potions class is there. Like you can go to potions class. Oh, defense against the dark arts is in season 5, so we gotta wait till season 5 to play that. Like, no, you just have to fucking play the game and all your shit's there. So I like I just feel like the live service games that exist now it's kind of like everyone has their live service game now. Like everyone's already picked it. Like there's no you can't squeeze and get in the market. Like It's
Hold that thought actually, because we are going to talk about a
yeah,
live service game. So hold that thought of what you're
yeah,
thinking of, because we will
but
dive deeper into that.
yeah, but yeah. So I just it won't sell as well. And they'll be like, wow, we didn't make as many billions on this one. Yeah, because you guys fucked up. But
Yeah,
hopefully by that time, I mean, like obviously, yeah, they're gonna make a sequel. It's like, well, yeah, why not? I mean, you guys made it was the best selling game of 2022 or three when it came out. I don't know, but it's like, yeah, you'd be stupid not to make another game. And I don't know how well the Quidditch game is doing, but
well, yeah,
I thought that was
they
kind of
released that, Quidditch game.
yeah on PS5, yeah, but that was kind of lame. They were just like, oh yeah, like I forget what the reasoning was, like in game, like the reason Quidditch wasn't going on, like I forget. There was like there's just some lame reason why you could play Quidditch, and it's just like okay, clearly either A, you guys knew you wanted to sell this separately, which is the most likely thing, or it would have taken too long to develop, and like at this point you just had to get the game out. So
Yeah.
it's like it's one of the two. Hopefully, but it's like probably not. But it's like hopefully you guys just wanted to get this game out and didn't want to develop it for another 6 months just to add a Quidditch mini game. So, but yeah, I don't know. That's all my thoughts. But hopefully WB learned their lesson. Like it's just like there just needs to be like one guy in the executive room that's like, look, we had Suicide Squad, a live serve game. We lost $200 million. See this? This is a negative 200 million. Do you see this game over here?
This
This
is a
was not a live service
plus.
game. This was a plus lots of dollars. See this big pile of cash I drew next to the picture of Hogwarts Legacy?
Do
This this is how we make lots of cash. We just
this
make
again.
above average decent games because Hogwarts Legacy wasn't anything special. It was just a above average game, like an 8. If we just make 8s to 9s out of 10s that are just fun single player games, we will make buckets and buckets of cash. Go back, look at the Arkham series, like Arkham Knight, like even Arkham Knight, even though that was like controversial and they had like the bugs and glitches, it still sold well and they made money. It's like if we make fun single player games that are 8s and 9s out of 10s, even 7s, we
People
will
will buy.
sell and make
If you build
buckets
it,
of
they will
cash.
come.
Exactly. Like we will make buckets and
Yeah.
buckets of cash.
Well, I mean,
But
yeah. I mean,
But yeah, I mean they're selling their
yeah.
IPs now too, so maybe they'll fucking learn when I don't know, like some random developer just makes a fun game and they're like, "Oh shit, what, you guys made money like selling that type of game?" Like, "Oh yeah, we just didn't do predatory microtransactions and just made a fun single player game." And people bought it. Wait, why did they do that? Like, why wouldn't they want to keep coming back each month and giving you money? Oh, they just keep coming back and playing it each month because they like the game. And they tell their friends, and then their friends buy the game. That's how we make more money. I'm like, oh, that's weird.
Hmm. Well, I mean, like I said, they've announced basically or confirmed that they're making a sequel. Time will tell.
Yeah.
We'll see if they've, I guess, taken the
They
right
better.
lessons or have decided to just cover their ears and say la 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 la. We don't hear the outside noise. Outside noise. This is what we want to do. So
Yeah.
we'll
Or
find
just
out.
like, oh, it didn't work this time, but it'll work the next time.
Yeah, it didn't work. It doesn't work for anybody, but I think for us, it'll work. Whatever the line is from Rest of Development, I don't remember. All right, Black Myth Wukong, currently on PC and PS5, not on Xbox Series X and S, or just Xbox in general. So, Paul Tassi of Forbes recently put out a report that the reason the game isn't on Xbox is due to an exclusivity deal with Sony that just hasn't been reported or just put out by either Game Science, the studio behind Black Myth, and obviously Sony. There was some other gaming insiders who were saying no, that's definitely not the case. But according to Paul Tassi, his source is rock solid, but he couldn't elaborate further. Obviously, this has caused a lot of, you know, dust up on Twitter and everything. Because originally, obviously, when the game was announced and, you know, trailers and everything, it was obviously said, like, it's coming to all consoles, or just coming to both consoles. Um, and then I don't remember when it happened. It was like a couple months ago, I guess, I think. June, I believe. Yeah, if I'm reading correct. June. They Game Science said it wasn't coming out for the Xbox Series XS. They put out a statement. We are currently, at the time, they had put out a statement. We are currently optimizing the Xbox Series XS version to meet our quality standards, so it won't release simultaneously with other platforms. We apologize for the delay and aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users. We will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards. After that, Microsoft did release their own statement saying we're excited. This, coming from Microsoft, quote, we're excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox Series XS and are working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners. This is key right here. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders. But we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are at the center of that, unquote. So that little part right there where it says we can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders. That was in June, June 21st specifically. And so that obviously was, all on social media. Like, wait, was there an exclusivity deal? But nothing came out, by either Sony or Game Science. And then obviously with Game Science saying, oh, it's not meeting our quality standards. Everyone thinks, obviously, it's the Series S that's holding it back, or whatever it is. Because I mean, that did happen with what was that RPG again that came out? That they said there was an issue with the Xbox Series S.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I am. I haven't played it. That's why. So like,
I'm
yeah,
drawing a blank. Yeah.
yeah, I'm drawing a
Like I
blank.
said, I got that brain
It's
fog.
the Dungeons and Dragons game, basically. I mean, yeah. So there was precedent that, like, yeah, the Xbox Series XS, while the X obviously being powerful enough to do whatever they're doing, it's the S that's holding certain things back and causing certain issues. I mean, there was another game, I think it was called Inatria or something. It's like a Souls-like game that had recently, this past week, that was saying that the Series S was causing issues, I think, or something like that. But then there was also reports that I think they themselves came out, not necessarily the Series S, but issues with talking with the Xbox team and everything. I don't know. It's a weird situation with that. But so yeah, obviously because it had happened before, no reason to think otherwise. That yeah, the Series S is causing issues so with Black Myth Wukong. That's why it's not releasing it. But then yes, with that little sentence, from Xbox itself, and then there was other gamer leakers that were coming out and saying that, like, yeah, no, this isn't the issue. It's not because of the Series S. It was because Sony paid for some exclusivity. That was leading up. That was before Paul Tassi from Forbes did come out with his report. Obviously, it's still not fully known, but I'm inclined to believe that I think Sony probably did pay Game Science to say, hey, release it on PS5 before you release it on Xbox for just a little bit. That's just my thoughts on it, or not my thought, but like my opinion on that matter. That yeah, Sony did it. That's just what Sony's definitely willing to do that. It's not like they've never paid for stuff or exclusivity and screwed Xbox gamers before. So yeah, just what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it seems about right that it might have happened. I mean, it because it's like in line. I mean, like because it's like they're like, oh, Souls game. Like people know us from like Demon Souls. Like we're kind of like the Souls originators, so it feels like something that like they wanted to probably get their hands on. And I mean, if you can get some guaranteed money from a developer to get a few extra bucks before something gets released elsewhere, like as a developer, like the Black Myth people probably were like, yeah, we'll get a nice little payday, and then we'll still eventually get the Xbox sales later on. So, I mean, it's plausible. It's most likely, especially if they're making comment, and especially if you say like, "Oh, we can't comment on that." It's basically like, yeah, like
Yeah,
we can't make a
it's
comment.
like we know it happened, but we're obviously we can't say shit about
Yeah,
fuck. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like yeah, I'm inclined to believe like yeah, Sony definitely paid for that because I mean the game was shaping up to be like a big hit, and obviously it ended up being a big hit. You know, it's got a lot of players and everything, and it's made a lot of money. I don't know the exact sales numbers and everything, but yeah, like that makes sense. Yeah, that they're gonna be like, no, 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 no. This is gonna be huge. Let's get in on this. So yeah, the, that's to me that's the most likely scenario. That's why it's not on
yeah,
Xbox yet. Um, when it ends up on Xbox, I don't even think they've said yet. I mean, if it's obviously if it's like an exclusive deal, I don't think they could announce a date that like, oh yeah, it's gonna release, December something or whatever. Like, because anyone who the point of these kinds of things is that someone, even if someone has like an Xbox and like a PlayStation, or both, or maybe just has an Xbox, is gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, I really want to play this game. I'm gonna go buy it on play. I'm gonna go buy a PlayStation or something. That's the thought process that people are going to either buy a PlayStation to get it or just buy it on the PlayStation. Sony gets the money for it. Either way, Sony makes the money off of
hmm
a sale of the game. Um, it is on PC. I like I said, I did. I mean, I think we did talk about this, right? That I was thinking about getting the game on PlayStation. Uh,
yeah. I think so.
I just I think I do want to wait until it's on Xbox. I'm just an Xbox guy, you know. It's
Yeah, I think it's more also that like, I mean, we have a shit ton to play anyway right now, so it's
yeah,
not
I do
like,
have yeah, like I mean, it's like in two-ish, couple weeks, maybe. Yeah, like a little under 2 weeks. Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster's coming out, or remake, or whatever it's called. Remaster. That's coming out. I'm gonna have some stuff to play, you know. And you, like I said, you bought Alan Wake 2. I can now actually start now that I've moved in to the new home. I can start trying to play through some of these things.
hmm
Um, yeah, I don't know. Again, like I said, this is most likely scenario. I don't care either. It is what it is. Sony, like I said, I mean, Sony does this stuff to screw over Xbox gamers, which is online. I've actually seen this a lot. That like this is why Xbox that people are saying this is why Xbox shouldn't release games on PlayStation. Xbox games because clearly Sony doesn't give a shit when it comes to like playing nice, quote unquote. So
yeah,
why
but
should Xbox?
it's more about Xbox just wanting cash too.
I mean, look, Xbox is, I think, ahead of the curve on this with releasing their games on PlayStation. I think we did talk about this in the last podcast. I think this is where it's headed. At least for Sony and Xbox, or Sony and Microsoft. PlayStation, Xbox, we'll say that. Maybe not Nintendo necessarily, because they probably, either A, don't care, or B, like, they make enough to get by. I mean, there's has to be a reason why their games don't lower in price. But I think for PlayStation and Xbox specifically, I think we're headed. I think at some point it's going to be like, yeah, we're just going to release our game on Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. Like, whether it's Microsoft or Sony. I just think with the rising cost of games, you can't, like, there's just almost no choice now. And especially when, again, we'll talk about it later, you're having flops that cost you in the figures of $200 million. Like, you have to recoup that loss. That's kind of what you got to do, maybe, is to just, yeah. So, I mean, they're doing these things for a reason. Sony's paying Game Science to have that game on there because, like I said, the thought process, hope, whatever you want to call it, is that they're going to make money specifically for, obviously, PlayStation or whatever, through sales of Black Myth on PlayStation. That it is only on PlayStation, console-wise, for the time being. But we'll see how it shakes out. Obviously, it's still gonna end up on Xbox. So, like I said, I'm gonna wait, and there's probably still a good number of people who are either A, willing to wait, or B, just have to wait. So, Okay, let's see. I guess we could start. Let's start with some of, or not start with. Let's get to the. I don't know. I guess we could call it a bad week for Sony, in a sense, because there's a few stories.
Would you say that they're cooked?
Yes, they're cooked. We'll start with this one first, which I don't agree with this, but it is a thing that an actual Sony executive said. So, what is he? The chief financial officer. His name is Hiroki Totoki. He thinks that they don't have, whether it's, let me see, what was the exact, whether it's for games, films, or anime, we don't have that much IP that we fostered from the beginning. This is what he thinks. Whether you think it's true or not, that's obviously your opinion and everything. And he thinks it's an issue, obviously, for the company, which leads fans to become nostalgic for basically for games they've released in the past. Things like, Killzone, Infamous, Resistance, stuff that they haven't been releasing that they haven't released a new game in that franchise, in those franchises in a long time and everything. And I don't know. I kind of agree with it, but I also don't agree with it. Because for him to say that he thinks they don't have enough original IP kind of doesn't make sense. Right there, I named like 3, right? Infamous, Killzone, Resistance. That's not to mention, obviously, God of War, Horizon, Last of Us.
Yeah, well, the additional IPs that you named are ones that they've kind of let just like go. Like,
yeah,
they made an Infamous for the PlayStation 3, and then they made an Infamous for the PS4, but they didn't decide, like, they haven't made one for the PS5. They kind of just let that IP go away, and like they had that. It's not like the market was oversaturated with a shit ton of like there was the DLC that came out for Second Son, but like it was well received. It wasn't like, oh my god, it's a 9 out of 10 game, but like still good enough to make another one. And people, um, what's the zombie game that they had?
Days Gone.
Guy on the motorcycle, Days Gone. Like that one's kind of had like people have come back and like I think we were a little too harsh on it initially. Like the game got better, like and now with it being released on PC, like the sales have like it's made money. It's a profitable franchise. Like you could bring that back and do it better. So like they're like we've just named a lot of like IPs of like that they could bring back, and like if you just make some adjustments based on like the feedback and reviews that came out, like you could make better games. Like it's possible. Like you can receive feed. You don't have to look at it and be like, well, guess we gotta release Days Gone 2 exactly like Days Gone 1, or else people won't know what it's about. It's like, well, no, like just take the fucking feedback you receive and just make some tweaks. Because what people liked about the game was the hordes of zombie killing, and it took a really long time to get to that zombie killing. So people didn't like that. Well, how about this one? We just thrust you in the action a lot quicker and like do away with some other annoying things and make the characters less like I don't know, like, the characters didn't have much depth, so like we can like explore and go into that more. It's like I don't know, get some Last of Us writers on this shit or something. I don't know, but like just like do stuff like that, like you because like I said, it's made money now that since it got released on PC. Like shocker, you released it on a second platform and are capitalizing on a bunch of sales, and now you're making money off of it. So it's weird how that works. I wonder who does that. I wonder who sells things on multiple platforms so they can make more money.
Mm.
I just can't think of the name of that company
Yeah.
for some
So
reason.
like to be fair to the to Toki, he was more referring to huge IP, like on the level of like Mario, which obviously when you think of, I guess, mascot level, I guess you could say, like it was like Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War, and it does kind of die down a little bit more after that. You can maybe put Horizon in there, I guess. But after that, it's, the rest of their IP is not as huge as that. But like
I
you
know, but to
can
fucking
turn those
say
into,
like
yeah.
to say like, oh, we want the scale of Mario. It's like, oh, like I want our game to come out and be on the scale of Fortnite. Like maybe set your expectations like a little bit lower. Like you could have some really solid IPs that make you money, but like if you want everything to be a fucking Mario that comes out, you're setting yourself up for failure. Like you just can't have like all of your IPs come out and be like, yep, we got another fucking Mario right here. Like, yep, this RPG that we just released, it's the next Final Fantasy. Like, and it's all ours. Like, maybe just don't set your expectations that you're gonna make billions of dollars and you're gonna open up super infamous land. You know, like,
Well, the thing for me
like,
is for for that, even obviously, I don't think every franchise needs to be mascot level. But the thing is, like, it's about the fan base. You grow the fan base enough, obviously, certain IP are still going to be beloved and or beloved, whatever you want, however you want to say it, or whatever. And people are going to be like, I want another game. And I mean, shit, like SOCOM. I've seen a lot of people like, I would love another SOCOM game. One of the biggest ones is, yeah, like Resistance. People want another Resistance game,
mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, because they made the one on the Vita was the last one, and then they were like, yeah, we're done.
Was that really the last? That was Resistance Burning Skies, right?
Yeah.
which was I
Like
thought it was a good game.
it was decent. I mean, it was a fun first person shooter to play on like the Vita, but they're like no one bought the game because no one bought the Vita. Like there's a reason.
Yeah, Sony does have a tendency to kind of shoot themselves in the foot with some of their stuff. Like the Vita. I mean, like having the memory be proprietary and be so expensive doesn't help.
Yeah,
Things like
and
that.
then after the first year, you
Not
basically
supporting it
stop.
really.
Yeah, you basically are just like third party developers. You guys should develop for the Vita. What are you guys doing? Fucking nothing. But you guys should totally make some cool shit. Like it'd be cool if you used the touchscreen. They're like, well, what do you guys do? Can you give us some like examples of what you guys are doing? Nah, like can you guys just fucking figure it out? Like we made like that. We made Tearaway. Like, I mean, like you guys could do stuff too. It'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, both
Yeah.
Sony and Microsoft both kind of have the issue. Like, they have other IP that people would love to see.
Oh, I know. And Microsoft now has so many IPs that's just like, give us a new Spyro. Give us a like Crash Bandicoot 4, like sold like
New
crazy.
Banjo
Everyone was like,
Kazooie. People want a new
yeah,
Banjo Kazooie.
New Banjo Kazooie. I mean, like Perfect Dark looks like it's finally coming out, and like as I mean, people are like, Perfect Dark for the N64 is amazing. Like, why don't we get another Perfect Dark? So it seems like from the brief little bits that we saw of it, it does look like finally like that dream is coming true. But I mean, yeah, you have all these like old Activision titles and stuff. But yeah, and
I
like these
I,
platformers, like
I think I've
especially
said it
like
on
the
a
three that we named, like Spyro, Crash, and Banjo. You have these three like classic, iconic platformers that like you have. If you just make updated graphics version that like similar feel, like but just look way nicer, like people are gonna buy them.
yeah, I think I've said this on a previous podcast before. But like now that they own Activision, they own the Pitfall franchise. Just fucking copy Uncharted and Tomb Raider and make a new Pitfall game. Like
Yeah,
that would, yeah. There is stuff that they could do, but the thing is, I think it's a thing of companies not wanting to take risks. They do things where they want to release games that they think, oh, this is what's going to make us money, and sometimes that does blow up in their face. Sometimes, obviously, it doesn't blow up in their face, and they make a shit ton of money. Like, oh yeah, we sold a shit ton of Last of Us 2, God of War Ragnarok. We sell a shit ton of you know Halo games and Gears of War, whatever it is.
hmm
So they just keep churning those kinds of games out. I mean, I bet you God of War was it 2016, right, or whatever it
yeah.
was. I bet you that probably wasn't originally
Or
like
2018,
2018,
2018.
2018. I bet you that wasn't originally supposed to be a God of War game. That probably was supposed to be something else. And then Sony came in and was like, why don't you make this a God of War game? I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, like, that makes sense. Like how
I bet
drastically
you,
different that game is to the other
yeah.
games.
Or I bet you they came in and were like, why don't you make this more like The Last of Us?
Or, I mean, yeah, they were like, hey, you know what? We want to make another God of War game. Why don't you make it more like this? Which, I mean, so, like, obviously for a long time Xbox was known as like the shooter console, right? Like
Yeah.
if you want a shooter, that's where you go to. But like Sony has developed the reputation of like, oh, the sad dad simulator, or like, oh, it's just a third person action adventure game.
hmm
So like, both companies do it, but yeah, Sony has been like, when you think of like the games that they've been releasing that are like their big hitters, God of War 2018, Ragnarok, third person action game.
The
Last of Us,
Uncharted's,
Uncharted, third person action games. Horizon,
Horizon.
third person action game. Days Gone, third person action game. They're all third person action games.
Infamous.
and they're always all set in like foresty areas.
Oh, another fucking IP that they had that just kind of died was Heavenly Sword. That was a
Well,
fun game on the PS3.
yeah, which sucks that Ninja Theory wants to keep making Hellblade games, and
Yeah.
what's that other one that they're gonna make? I forgot. It's like named after a woman or has a woman's name. They're like, I don't want that. Make more like more games like Heavenly Sword and Enslaved and DMC Devil May Cry. Make more games like that. I don't want to see Hellblade, but like, oh no, we're just gonna make a walking simulator. Like, oh, that's fucking okay. Whatever. I just um. Oh, now I'm mad about Hellblade. I do not like the Hellblade games. I don't. I know the first one was really well received. Obviously, the second one wasn't as well received. We all know why. Why it wasn't as well received as the first one, even though it's basically the same game. We all know why. But no, I'm not gonna talk about
That old news.
that. I don't know. I guess I could mention this. This is it's more PlayStation news. They recently raised their price, the price of the PS5 in Japan, by 13,000 yen. That's about $90. That's the third price hike since 2020, and I don't know. That's kind of crazy. That the remember when when the consoles used to lower in price, but now they're
Yep.
all raising in
Back
price.
in back in my day, consoles went down in price.
Now it's now they're getting. I just again we're
Yeah,
do
I don't know enough about Japan's economic situation and like what their deal is with inflation. And I know, I mean, we know like a little bit about what's going on in our country, obviously, but I don't know, like, I don't know why the price is increasing only in Japan and not here. That's the part that like I wasn't able to really find an answer to. Like, why is it only increasing in Japan? Like, don't they fucking make the PlayStations in Japan too? Like, why is it increasing there and not everywhere? You know?
I mean they did raise the price here because what the disc drive one was 500, right? And then the non-disc drive was 400, but now it's 450 and 550 respectively, isn't it? They
Is
did
it?
raise the price. I mean, I guess I could look it up if I go to Amazon. I could like look up prices for a PlayStation and everything.
I'm going to GameStop.com. Because now you got me questioning. I'm like, did they raise the price?
So I see PlayStation 5 console slim with the disc drive. Oh, but that's slim. It's 500. Let me see. They're the original ones. Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So this. Oh, but this is on sale. Like. Okay. So I guess they didn't raise the price. Oh no, this is renewed. So that means it's supposed to be cheaper. Okay. I cannot find prices for this.
Or is it when the Slim came out? So like the Slim, so like, oh, here's a new console, and it just like costs more.
Maybe. Well, I swear I remember that like that was what happened. They raised the price because Xbox did the same thing. The Series S, remember, was 300 and then it got raised to 350.
Well,
And I'm
no, like I
thinking,
mean, at Target.com right now, the PlayStation 5 console Slim is $500, just as is.
but I think those are supposed to meant to be cheaper because they're the slim versions.
Just like well, like the disc is $500, console Slim, digital's 450.
Mm, I can't
Regardless.
look it up now. But yeah, no, it's just weird that yeah they're going to.
But yeah, so so even if they did raise the ones here in North America, like why are they raising only Japan? Like I don't know,
It's just the
just
cost
seems
of
weird.
it's just probably production costs, and maybe they're
Yeah,
not even
but like
selling enough.
yeah, that's what I'm like. I don't know about enough about their fucking economic situation. What's going on over there?
But this is going back to what we were talking about. Like everything is raising in price, and you can't or the costs of making consoles and video games, it's going up, and you can't just be like, hey, you know what? It's just costing so much to do. Like there's a PS5 Pro, that's heavily rumored,
Yeah, well, yeah, like and
but the
the
heavily rumored
PlayStation's
price is $600. That's a lot of money.
yeah. It
If
seems
that
like
turns
Sony's
out
kind of it seems like Sony's kind of reverting back to their
the
fucking
PS3 era,
yeah, their PS3 era of like dog shit marketing and just kind of like thinking gamers are stupid. Like Don Matrick kind of did, like, oh, you guys can just fucking use your 360, you fucking
God,
poor nerds.
Don Matrick was a
Yeah,
fucking moron.
yeah. It's like you fucking nerds. You just play on the 360 if you can't afford this. Like essentially saying like when like the PS3 was announced, like yeah, get a second job, you fucking poor nerds. If you can't
Which is
afford my
what
console,
PlayStation did during,
yeah,
which
that's
is
what I'm
what
saying.
PlayStation did.
Like
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm like basically like oh yeah, if you fucking poor nerds can't buy this shit, like this is too bad. Like this is what we got instead of like I don't know. You don't want to like bend the knee to your fan base or people, but like you have to like
there has
can't
to be a
just like
middle ground.
yeah you can't you have to talk nicely to them. You can't just be like yeah
Yeah,
fuck you idiots
or at least you have to lube it up before you stick it in the ass.
something like that. But yeah, like I don't know. So if it does come out and if it's like hella price like that, like I think the issue too is we don't need a this generation doesn't need a pro because right now we're still getting a shit ton of games that come out and don't even run at 60 frames per second. So it's like, and like these consoles can do it. That's the thing. It's not like games are coming out and developers are like, oh, we just like, or it's just like the system's hardware can't handle 60 frames. It's like, it, like for whatever reason, developers can't maximize the stats of these consoles. So me buying a PS5 Pro wouldn't change my experience in the gaming like of what I had. Like it would upgrade anything. Like the PS4 Pro, like that generation did need kind of like a same with like the Xbox One, like getting like the Xbox Series or the Xbox One X, like getting that, like those mid jumps to get your game like and it actually like allowed your games to be played at higher frames and stuff. That was like a mid console refresh that was needed. These consoles, they don't need it. Developers aren't even fully maximizing what's in these things yet. So we don't need that. That's why Xbox, like, there's been like there was the rumors like, oh, Xbox is announcing a new console today. They just announced a console that is like, oh yeah, it's just got more memory because that's the issue right now, is we don't need like,
Games are
especially when
getting
you have Call
bigger
of Duty coming out. Call of Duty's coming out. We're like, Call of Duty's like, yeah, we're gonna be like 300 to 500 gigabytes. Like, go
if
fuck
you have
yourself.
everything. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
go
supposed.
fuck
Okay.
yourself if you want to play anything else.
Oh yeah, I know. I downloaded it on my PC. It's like 200 gigs. I'm like, Jesus, fuck.
I know. So I'm just like, that's the issue. Like, so Xbox at least is recognizing that, and so if you're coming into the Xbox generation now, like you can get a 2 terabyte system, which sounds like a lot of memory, but like it's like
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I bought that one
because
terabyte card. Yeah, it feels
yeah,
good.
like I have a 1 terabyte card and I have 26 games currently installed, and I have 434 gigabytes free. So like I have 26 games installed, and I'm using 75% of my like capacity.
Memory,
So
yeah,
like
capacity.
I could like for full games, I could probably download like 5 or 6 more like full size games or whatever that are like the 50, 60 gigs. Like just because they like obviously vary in size and you have to leave room for updates. So it's like, but yeah, so like that's 30 games. It's not even like that's not a lot. And some of these games are like small ass little games. Like I have like Jackbox party games because you have these. I have big giant ass Call of Duty like and Gears 5 like being these big giant 100+ gig games on my hard drive. So it's like that's the issue is just size of games. It's not. We don't need a pro to have the games look better. Like developers just need to take advantage of the consoles as they currently stand.
Yeah. Yeah, I've said it before too. No, we don't need pro versions of these consoles. Because to me, I'm like, games look so good. It does need to be just like, hey, we just need frames. Like, that's all it is. It's
Yeah,
performance.
like that, yeah. We've talked. I mean, we've beaten this horse so many times. It's all about just getting
Performance of the game.
60. It's
60
performance of the
frames.
games. Like I don't need to see reflections in characters' eyes. In Red Dead, I don't need my horse's testicles to shrink and like do all this stuff if the weather's cold. Yeah, it's funny to say, but it's just like I don't need that stuff. Just make the game run at 60 frames, like,
And we're all good.
and we're all good. There's like, if you were looking at film, like there's stuff that filmmakers worry about in film that's like we really don't like 95% of the people that go to watch a movie don't care about that. Like there's other stuff you can focus on. It's just like just you don't need to put coding in there for dumb stuff. Like it's just frustrating.
Yeah.
The one thing, like just unrelated, but like one thing coding. I wish one thing that would just go away, just be fucking photo mode. I hate photo modes.
Mhm.
It's like
A
my
lot of
one
people
like
like them.
I hate photo modes. Like the only time
I
I'll ever use
don't care
them
about
is
them. You need to
if I
get an
see there's an
achievement.
achievement. Yeah, I'm like, I don't care about a photo mode. People are like, oh, look at this photo I took in this game. I'm like, literally, you can just take a screenshot on the Xbox. Like, everybody can take that same screenshot. It's not cool. It's like, you paused your game. Congratulations. Whatever. You know what's cooler
Yeah.
than a picture? Recording the gameplay of how the game's actually being played.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. I'd rather see actual gameplay instead of just like, oh, this, okay, I guess this picture is like, I don't know, we get too many, like, you know, companies release pictures of what the game looks like. Okay, we know what the
Yeah,
game looks like.
you don't give
Show
a
me how it
shit.
plays. Yeah.
Give a shit.
Show
Just show
me
me the
funny
video.
clips that you made.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Let's get to the definitely the biggest news of the past week. Concord,
Put
rest
F's in
in
the
peace.
chat.
F's in the chat. F's in the chat. F's, yeah. Concord. They took it offline as of September 6th, 2024.
Whole 8 days.
I thought it was 11 days. I thought I saw 11
Oh,
days.
maybe 11. Well, okay, sorry. Yeah. So sorry. 11 days.
So yes, the game released. Yeah, a little over 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, and this might go down as the biggest like flop in gaming history
Yeah.
because I mean, what we talked about it, right? Like the peak amount of players was just abysmal. It wasn't even beating games that also were considered failures like Redfall, and it was like losing out to games that are stupid. Like there's a game called Sex with Hitler on Steam that had like a higher peak player count than Concord did. Uh, Apparently, according to some like reports or whatever, Concord just across the board, not like on Steam or not on PlayStation only, combined on both platforms, sold about 25,000 units. That's it.
Yeah.
This game apparently cost $200 million to make.
Yep. 8 years, 200 mil.
I just, it's just amazing what happened. So okay, they released a statement. Game director Ryan Ellis, I guess. While many qualities of the experience resonated, this is part of his quote, I guess. While many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. Yeah, I'd say that's, putting it lightly. The game just
Yeah.
was getting absolutely destroyed in like online in social media and everything. From the game didn't play that great to the characters look stupid to why is this game $40 and not free to play and just other things. Also, they gave full refunds. That means Sony didn't make anything off this game because they had to give all the money back to players.
Yeah, I think the only thing they made money on, like I don't know how much margin they make, but on the controllers they sold because they didn't do recalls on the controllers. You know, it's wild. Just real quick, like this is how dumb Sony fans are. Because I saw this like just real quick snippet about like just the game and just like making money, but like if you wanted to buy, like people are selling sealed copies of the game Concord, dead game. You can buy you like people are paying over $100 for the game on eBay,
That's hilarious.
like for a collector's item, essentially, just to be like, yeah, like, God, dude, if I still worked at GameStop, like all those, I would have just because like they would have just had us throw them, like essentially throw them away. I would have kept all of them, and sold all of them online too.
Mm.
But like the controllers are going for like $250 on eBay, like selling for like $250 and more. So like people are buying this stuff as like a joke slash like I don't know like like is this equivalent of the fucking ET game that came out where just trying to erase it from existence where like just destroy copies and stuff like that. So
So
I don't know,
I want to. This is from IGN. Their review of the game. They gave it a 7,
which is hilarious.
which is hilarious. Yeah, I want to point. I want to like point this out or whatever because people were pointing it out on social media, like on the actual IGN like tweet about the closure of the game. Because in their review, the little just blurb like quick that you could like, oh, here's the number and just here's a little quick thing from their actual review. Concord isn't the most innovative or content-heavy hero shooter you could play, but with such fantastic competitive gameplay, 16 compelling characters to master, and 12 well-designed maps, it's got the makings of something that could fuck, that could go the distance in the months and years to come. The months and years to come. The game
That aged well.
didn't even last 2 weeks. It didn't even last weeks,
Yeah. At like the freezing cold takes account on Twitter for that one.
right? Um, yeah, and man, so there's like a few things that I kind of want to talk about when it comes to this game. Because the thing that's also hilarious that I've been seeing a lot of is like you got obviously a lot of people dancing on the grave of Concord. Like, yeah, this like basically saying like, yeah, this makes sense. So it's like
We
a
didn't want
celebration of
this.
we didn't want this, and now they're like, yeah, and there's various reasons of why people are celebrating the death of this game. Whether it's this game was just completely unnecessary, it didn't play great, or the quote unquote woke aspect of the game. Characters, some of them, the designs are like clearly Western developer shit. and they have pronouns in the game or whatever. So there's various reasons. But you also have a lot of like the IGNs of the world and everything trying to like kind of defend the game still in a way like we shouldn't be celebrating this. There's like I don't remember the exact Twitter account or like the website that's like people celebrating this game's death need to like look in like inward or whatever. And then people bring up their tweets how they basically are just shitting on Redfall for being bad and stuff. Um so yeah, like that's just something I guess I want to mention about just that. But obviously main discussion. The reason this game actually failed. It's a few things, or not the reason, the reasons. According to everybody, even some reviews, like the gameplay was good, yes, but it's just average. It doesn't give you anything new that you can't get from games like Paladins, Overwatch, other hero shooters in the genre,
Or even the new Marvels.
or and that's another thing that like for it to be as generic as it is, where other hero shooters that have come out recently, like Valorant, they're trying to give you something different. You have like Valorant that's like, you know what? What about if it's a hero shooter, but it plays like Counter Strike, or like X Defiant too? Like, what if it's a hero shooter, but it plays like Call of Duty, which I guess Call of Duty actually did do, or yeah, Marvel. Like, what if it's a hero shooter, but you can play as a superhero? There's a hook besides just it being a hero shooter. Not only that, but I think one of the biggest reasons of its failure is that the game costs $40. All the other
Mm-hmm.
aforementioned games are all free to play. So for
And it's
them to,
$40 with microtransactions.
with microtransactions, granted they're cosmetic, but still, it's $40 for a game for basically knockoff Overwatch, where you could just play Overwatch for free. Or if you don't want to play Overwatch, you know what? I'll go and play Marvel Rivals, right? That's what it's called. Or I'll
Yeah.
play Valorant. Or I'll play Apex Legends, which is a hero shooter as well, but in a battle royale setting. There's just other better options, or I guess now were other better options since Concord is no more. I just don't understand what their thought process was with like this is just kind of a generic game. It's just basically Overwatch light, but we're gonna charge you $40 for it. If this was maybe 4 years ago, probably might have been fine. But free to play has become
Yeah.
so prevalent now.
Yeah.
With
Or if you'd have been able to release this like right after Overwatch 2 had their fucking controversy of just
yeah, I
like,
know, right? Yeah, that might have helped it too.
yeah. Or if you were like, oh, we have a campaign attached to this, unlike somebody else, and just like kind of like do kind of a dig at them, but they kind of just, we're just like, let's just do a carbon copy.
So Sony has like in their statement said, while we figure out what to do with this game, we're just
Make
taking
it
it offline.
free and just re-release it. Like that's all
I
you have
mean,
to do.
that's what a lot of people have said. Like,
That's
just
their
make the
only
game free.
option.
It's
It's
kind of
you're
yeah,
or you just fucking don't acknowledge it for the rest of the time. Like you just were like, oh, like we were thinking about releasing it for free, but we just don't think anyone's gonna play it. So
So yeah, basically, yeah, they only have two options. Either it's A, they eat the cost, shut down Firewalk Studios probably, and just be like, yeah, it's a $200 million lesson that, or yeah, B, here's the game, it's free to play, please spend some money on it, and
yeah,
hopefully just get something back.
Yeah, but they have to look about like how much does it cost to keep servers up and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
but like, and this is why I was telling you hold off on your thought. Like this game coming out with like I talked about. There's other hero shooters that people could choose that are free to play and might even be better. But even also that, like you were saying earlier, people have their preference. They have their like, you know what, I want to play this game. And that's it. I want to play Overwatch. I want to play Valorant. I want to play Paladins. I want to play Apex Legends. I want to play Marvel
Destiny.
Rivals, Destiny. These other free to play live service games that people become set in their ways and are like, well, no, this is just the game I play.
Yeah, it's why time after time, like you have the like I would see these MMOs like while working at GameStop that would come and try to compete with World of Warcraft, and people didn't play them because like, well, I got to do all my dailies and my raids and all this shit in World of Warcraft. People didn't want to switch over. People like once they're in, it's really hard to get them out of the ecosystem and you go try
Yeah,
something else
but
and get them on
but
that.
that goes for every genre because this is a hero shooter,
Yeah,
obviously. But like
yeah,
we've talked about it before, like the failure of other um, looter shooters or something. I don't know what the genre would be for Destiny, like the persistent online shooter. Destiny, for all its like failures, has remained the top dog, even against like the Division or Anthem, uh, even that one game made by People Can Fly, a bit. Like throughout it all, Destiny has remained the top one. Just like you're saying, throughout it all, World of Warcraft has remained the top MMO, and throughout ever since basically 2007, Call of Duty has remained the top shooter, no matter how many other shooters have come out. Because once people get that game that they're gonna play, that's it. They're that's what they're gonna play. And especially when it's a thing like Concord, where it's like, well, you know what? I my game of choice is Overwatch. Oh, this new game came out. Oh, but it's $40 and Overwatch is free. Yeah, no,
and
I'm
I've
gonna
already
just play
spent.
Overwatch.
I'd already bought the season pass for Overwatch, so I gotta keep playing so that way I can get my new skins and emotes.
Yeah, Concord released at a point where what they were doing and how they did it and what they what they released, just it was a cacophony of shit that just either this game was going to die now or was going to die later.
Yeah,
And the game was just dead in the water, like
everyone
right off the bat,
everyone knew it except
except Sony.
Sony. Like I don't know. It's just like it's like how everyone was like saying before Suicide Squad. Or like we all knew it was gonna be a train wreck. I mean, I didn't. I was just like that 1%. Like I knew like this is gonna be bad. I'm not like it's not gonna be that much fun. But I'm like, damn it, Rocksteady. Like I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt of a 1% chance, like that this won't completely suck ass. And it's just like, God damn it, this sucks ass. Why did you make this game? No one wanted this. Just make a new Arkham game.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's man, yeah, like I just
Just
don't
sucks when
know. I
everyone can
don't know
tell
what.
you, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, they were. It's just like, just these execs see dollar signs. And they're like, we need, like, like, they're like, we need our Overwatch. Like, no, just make your own fucking game. You don't need to like make your new like make a new fucking genre. Be creative. Come up with something fucking else. Like,
I don't
I don't
even
know.
think
Just
necessarily it's be like be creative, come up with your own like
I
original
maybe
idea. I think
yeah, but
it's if you're
not
gonna
like
do
that
it,
far. But don't like
you got to do
cop.
something. Go ahead.
But yeah, I'm like, don't exactly copy it. Like, I mean, like, because you have, I mean, like, Helldivers came out, and you were able to charge people $40 for that because it was a slightly different experience than like the other games, like other live service games that are coming out. Like it was live service, but like, oh, you can play this one with your friends, and like we got this like kind of hilarious element. Like you get to see your friends like blow up in really funny ways,
Yeah.
and like so, and like I don't know, it just wasn't like predatory microtransactions, and it's just like you got like a good game for $40. Like I don't know,
Yeah, and that
whatever.
yeah, see that, and that's why I'm saying like I don't think it necessarily has to be. I mean, yeah, obviously that is an example of what you're talking about, something more original. But like like I said, I just think if they were like, yeah, we're gonna release this game, we're gonna make it free to play. I think that could have. I think this game would, while not obviously reaching the heights of an Overwatch, I think it'd probably be more on like more in line with like a Paladins, which is another basically Overwatch clone, but it still gets played. Like it still has
Yeah.
players, and the Sony fan base, you know, is still there enough that I think they'd be like, yeah, yeah, we'll play it if it's free to play. But asking them for $40,
In this economy,
and you're basically just getting Overwatch Lite, but not even as good as Overwatch. You're just you're asking the game to fail at that point. And obviously it did fail. And not only did
mm-hmm.
it fail, but it failed spectacularly. Like I said, people have been pointing out like this may be the absolute biggest flop, even bigger than ET. Because at least ET still sold kind of a lot of copies, more than apparently 25,000. And this game just could not reach like any numbers that could be considered even acceptable at like a bare minimum or something. I mean, like I said, 11 days, and it just they took it offline. They literally shut the game down. It wasn't like they just abandoned it. Like usually in these kind of cases, like a game gets abandoned, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, you'll still be able to play the game, but we're not going to update it. Like I think supposedly that's what's happening with Suicide Squad, right? Like it looks like they may not be updating the game anymore, but you're still going to be able to play Suicide Squad. You can't even. That's it. You can't play Concord anymore. They decided to just be like, yeah, no, and here's all your money back, guys.
Mm-hmm.
This was a fail of just absolute. Just I can't even think of a word for the proportion of it. Like I don't think there's a epic, nuclear, whatever word you want to use. I don't think that's.
Yeah, because like even with Suicide Squad, like I know it lost 200 million bucks or whatever, but at least they've kept it on. Like it sold well enough for them, the like to keep the servers online for a little while and do some seasons of content. Whether that's to save face, but I doubt it. It's more. I think they're just making enough
I mean, at
to
some
keep it
point,
going for a little bit.
Suicide Squad might get taken offline too.
Oh, for sure it will.
But look at how long a game has lasted,
Yeah.
despite everything. Concord, they just Sony said, yeah, fuck it, just pull the fucking plug. Like, don't even, no, just no, we don't wash our hands. Like, yeah, they just, and again, like I said, people pointing out like how compared to other huge failures, even a game like Redfall, which still sold, at least thousands, like hundreds of thousand copies. You know, other games that were considered huge failures look like absolute hits compared to just how bad this game did. That you can't. It's unfathomable, almost. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just, yeah. I mean, like, I was never gonna play the game. Like, I didn't want to pay $40 for it, even if it was free to play. I was like, no. I'm not a big hero shooter guy, also, so I'm not the target audience for this game. And if I am gonna play a hero shooter, I probably would just rather play Overwatch. It's already the more established game and whatnot. Obviously, and then there's Marvel Rivals that's coming out. That's more my speed. I like superheroes, comic book stuff. So yeah, this is insane. No, I just I don't think I could think of any more words I can use to describe just the absolute shit show that this situation for Concord like was, and just is for Sony and Firewalk. And also, like, you know, is Firewalk done? Like, is Sony gonna pull the plug and shut down the studio? You know? Yeah, it's
Yeah, which would be stupid because I mean it would suck for Firewalk because I'm sure Firewalk was told by Sony make this game, and then they make the game, and then Sony it doesn't sell, and they're like, that fucking sucks. And they're like, well, we didn't really want to make this game, but you get execs that are like, this is the game that we need to make.
yeah, it's I don't know. I'm wondering if this could be I don't know. It's just more, in the not recent, but like just more and more evidence showing that like live service is probably not the way to go, and certain other
Mm-hmm.
factors are just not the way to go. Focus your efforts on other things.
Yep.
But whether whether these publishers are going to be like, yeah, no, we'll do this, or just like, no. We're just going to keep pushing at this. We're going to keep trying to roll this fucking boulder up this hill. It's going to get over the edge at some point.
Yeah,
That's
consumers just need to be smart and just if I don't know. We've seen two giant failures this year, Suicide Squad and Concord now, so I don't know. I mean, if they want to keep trying to beat their heads
not only
through a
that,
concrete wall.
but the thing is, not only like two just absolutely gigantic failures in those games that are live service games, but look at like two of the biggest uh, hits that are of new IP too from the past 2 years. Hogwarts Legacy, a single player game, Black Myth Wukong, a single player game.
Both with no microtransactions.
Yeah, because
Both just sold when they had a quality single player game at launch. Weird.
in the end, I think in the end that's what it is. People just want something that's like, this is a good game,
Yeah.
and especially when you're asking players to give you money, it has to be like, I'm giving you my money. This is worth my money. Concord was $40, and it was Overwatch Lite. Wasn't even as good
Overwatch
as
from fucking
Overwatch.
Timu.
Yeah, exactly. Overwatch Team, like Overwatch Wish, whatever you want to call it, Wish Overwatch. And you want players to spend $40 on it when they could just be like, well, it's a bad like it's a copy paste version of Overwatch that's not as good. I'll just play Overwatch 2. That's free to play. It just didn't make sense for them
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And yeah, right now in this current climate of video games and with the gamers and everything, you can't waste their time and you can't make them feel like they've wasted money. Because then you get a Suicide Squad, you get a Concord, you get a Star Wars Outlaws, which is apparently a game that's looking like it's not selling well. Because of things like Ubisoft, like, well, here, pay us $110, I think it is, or $100, whatever it is, and you get to play the game early. And it's like, okay, but like your games are not that good, and you want us to like pay $70 to $100 for it?
The game's just like buggy and stuff. Like it's the same thing Suicide Squad did. Like pay to play our game 3 days early. There's a fucking glitch in Suicide Squad where you just beat the game like within an hour or some shit like that. It's just like, yeah, Star Wars I heard was pretty glitchy at launch. So, and I think the glitches were really only happening on the PlayStation and PC side, not Xbox. Xbox was like a patch ahead, so Xbox wasn't as glitchy
That
for whatever.
I don't really know.
Yeah, that's from what I was reading on it. So, but yeah, like, so Star Wars was more glitchy on that side than the Xbox side.
Yeah, and again, obviously, like I said earlier, games cost a lot of money to make. Look, Concord cost apparently $200 to make. That's not insignificant. So yeah, developers and publishers want to make money back. The return on investment has to be enough. But you just can't make a product that's going to be in the eyes of the consumer subpar and then ask them to pay this much and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, this doesn't match what you should have, you know, priced this as. You should have either been free or cheaper. And Concord, I guess, tried to like, well, what if we were cheaper than other games? But in the genre, the hero shooter genre, yeah, that was not a smart move to just be like, here's a generic hero shooter, $40, pay us.
Pass nerds.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much more to say that on that one. You got anything else?
Nope.
Okay then. All right, so that's gonna. I think we'll go ahead and end it there then. So again, I said it earlier. We should be back to the regularly scheduled once a week. We'll be releasing episodes every Monday by 10 a.m. That's usually when I try to have them up. Uh,
Oh, just a real quick fun fact. Gosh, why am I fucking blanking on it? The Dreamcast. It was released on when you release this episode tomorrow, 9/9. It is anniversary release date. So, fun
oh,
fact.
really?
So,
Came out in 1999, right?
yeah, 9/9/99.
So it's gonna be 25
So,
years old. Well,
yep.
happy early birthday to one of the best consoles ever made. Too bad it didn't last.
Yeah, just a little ahead of his time and just didn't
Dreamcast
have
was
the
Dreamcast was good. I had one
yeah.
after it died, but yeah, I had a Dreamcast. I liked it a lot. I really did. It was a good console. Too bad it went up against the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Too bad for other consoles too, like GameCube. Yeah, GameCube, and I guess Xbox as well or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, happy birthday when this episode gets released to the Dreamcast. May your memory live forever. All right, so that's gonna do it. This is what was it, episode 27, right? Gaming Chamber Podcast. I've been your host 2 weeks to kill you, Devin.
All right, let's go grip it and rip it the rest of this week.
And if you like our content, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And until
grip
next
it and
time,
rip it.
yeah, grip it and rip it. Fuck. Until next time, we'll catch you later.